10 greatest cricket matches ever played. Over more than the past 130 years, cricket has given us some remarkable matches in terms of both team and individual play. Whether tournament, one-day international or tests, there have been many matches which have produced jaw-dropping scorecards, heroic efforts in the face of seemingly impossible odds, or just plain amazing play on the field. The following list looks at 10 of the greatest cricket matches to ever take place. Number 10, India vs Australia, 5th ODI, Hyderabad, 2009. Heading into this match, Australia were the reigning ODI powerhouse. Most people probably expected a one-sided result or, at a minimum, a clear Aussie victory. The crowd that watched Australia bat first were probably left unsurprised by the first innings on that 5th of November. Australia, as expected, batted very well and used their maximum 50 overs to score 350 runs. Scoring was shared among the batsmen, with Sean Marsh leading the charge with 112 runs. Facing the task of scoring 351 in 50 overs, India looked to achieve the improbable. Enter Sachin Tendulkar. The India batter remained standing while other batsmen were bowled or caught out. Australia's nerves seemed rattled as their players started making mistakes all over the field. By the end, Tendulkar scored 175 runs and almost single-handedly made up the run gap. It was not enough as Australia took a nail-biter by a mere 3 runs. Number 9, Australia vs West Indies, WSC, Sydney, 1996. The 5th ODI of the Benson and Hedges WSC in 1996 saw Australia take on the West Indies at the Sydney Cricket Grounds. Heavy rains made it difficult for both sides to score runs. Nonetheless, the West Indies scoring was largely driven by Carl Hooper, who hit for 93 runs and helped the West Indies to a 172-run innings. Australia's run count was a little more distributed among its batsmen, but it came down to Michael Bevan to decide Australia's fate. Bevan had not had the best of bowling outings, ending up with the highest economy rating on the team. Nonetheless, with the last ball to be delivered, Bevan needed to hit for 4 to win. He did just that and handed Australia a stunning last-gasp victory. Number 8, Australia vs South Africa, World Cup Semi-Final, Edgbaston, 1999. Just 4 days before this match, Australia had defeated South Africa by 5 wickets in the Super 6 stage match. Just how important that game would turn out to be in the long run, no one could have known. The June 17th semi-final between Australia and South Africa took place at Edgbaston in Birmingham, England. South Africa won the toss but elected to field first, letting the Australians hit. South African bowler Sean Pollock bowled 5 for 36 and helped limit the Australians to 213. Australia countered with their own bowling experts, including Shane Warne, who went 4 for 29. South Africa, like their opponents, scored 213 runs in their innings. South Africa possibly had a chance to win the match but for a mix-up when Lance Klusner tried for a run while his partner at the other end, Alan Donald, stayed in place. The result was a run-out and a draw. By the fact Australia had won the earlier Super 6 match, they went through at South Africa's expense. Number 7, India vs Sri Lanka, 1st ODI, Rajkot, 2009. If a cricket match could ever be compared to boxing, this one was it. Like two heavyweight boxers, India and Sri Lanka blasted away at each other, with each side scoring more than 400 runs. Sri Lanka won the coin toss but elected to field first. The Indian batsmen made the most of their time, especially at the top order. The standout batsman was Virender Sehwag, who hit for a massive 146 runs. By the time India had completed their overs, they had amassed an impressive 414 runs. The task facing Sri Lanka was significant and looked insurmountable. That said, like the Indians, the top order for the Sri Lankans was devastating. Tilakaratne Dilshan had a standout innings with 160 runs. Unfortunately, the Sri Lankans fell just short of victory, losing by a mere 3 runs, which is incredible when you see that a combined 825 runs were scored over the course of the match. Number 6, Australia vs New Zealand, Hamilton, 2007. The Chappell Hadley Trophy is a 3 ODI tournament played between New Zealand and Australia. In 2003, heading into the 3rd ODI, New Zealand sat at 2-0 in the series. The final match, played on the February 20th, turned into a real slugging match as both teams brought their bats in order to get bragging rights over their neighbor. Despite being without some of their main players, the Australians made a lot of noise during the opening innings by scoring 346 runs, including a fantastic individual display by Matthew Hayden, who batted for 181 runs. Combined, 6 New Zealand bowlers could only take 5 wickets. Australia would, however, rue not taking advantage of this during their 50 overs. No New Zealand batsman could come close to Hayden's record display. That said, led by Craig McMillan's 117, Brendan McCullum's 86 and Peter Fulton's half-century, New Zealand stormed back to score 350, winning by 1 wicket. Number 5, India vs Pakistan, Australasia Cup, Sharjah, 1986. The final of the 1986 Australasia Cup pitted 2 cricketing and political adversaries against one another. Pakistan fielded first in the sweltering heat of the United Arab Emirates. India batted well in their innings and managed 245 runs. Fielded, the Indian club also did well with an 89-point lead and 10 overs remaining. Then Javed Miandad came to bat for Pakistan. Often described as the greatest batsman to come out of Pakistan, Miandad showed why as he chipped the lead away. Coming right down to the wire, India needed 1 wicket and Pakistan 4 runs from the last ball. Miandad struck the ball into the crowd and scored 6, giving Pakistan and the cricket world one of the most intense and memorable matches to ever be played. Number 4, England vs India, World Cup, Bangalore 2011. If stats are taken at face value, then some of the finest innings played by the great Sachin Tendulkar were in the matches that India lost. Case in point is the World Cup game between England and India in Bangalore on February 27, 2011. Batting first, India posted a total of 338 runs on the board, courtesy a 120-run knock by the Little Master. But led by skipper Andrew Strauss, who scored 158 runs off 145 balls, and Ian Bell's almost run-a ball 69, England replied with all guns blazing. The match ended in a draw. Number 3, India vs England, NatWest Series Final, Lords, 2002. One of the most thrilling and dramatic ODIs played at Lords is surely the NatWest final played between India and England in July 2002. England, having won the coin toss, elected to bat first. They made the most of their innings by hitting for a massive 325 runs. More than 2/3 of England's production came from batsmen Marcus Trescothick and Nasser Hussain, who both posted centuries. India responded with a memorable innings of their own. Run production was more evenly distributed by the Indian batsmen and included 3 half-centuries. Spectators at Lords watched as India chased down the English lead, the size of which had never been surmounted before, and win the final by just 2 wickets and 3 remaining balls. Number 2, Australia vs South Africa, Johannesburg, 2006. Leading up to this one-day international match, most of the money was on Australia to win. The Aussies always seem to have the South Africans' number, taking 3 of 4 matches from them when the South Africans toured Australia earlier that season and losing out in the Test series. The 5th ODI was of even greater importance as the first 4 matches were split between the 2 sides. Each side was missing a key player, with Australia's Glenn McGrath and South Africa's Sean Pollock both out of contention. Australia, batting first, came out of the gates like a bull and recorded a record 434-run innings. It seemed all but over for the home team. Then, led by Herschel Gibbs, the South Africans rallied and did the unthinkable. Having just watched the Australians set an ODI run record, they responded with a record of their own and hit for 438, winning by 1 wicket with just 1 ball to spare. The exploits of both teams mean this match definitely earns a place on any list of greatest matches. Number 1, England vs New Zealand, World Cup Final, 2019. This must be the greatest cricket match ever played, and that too it is a final of Cricket World Cup. The New Zealand won the toss and scored a decent 241 runs. England replied with an equal score of 241 runs by heroics of Ben Stokes, and the match was drawn. So, for the first time the result of a World Cup match was decided by a super over. England scored 15 runs in their super over, replied greatly by New Zealand, who also managed to score 15 runs. So, the super over was also tied, but since England had scored more boundaries than New Zealand, they won this all-time thriller with a 0 difference and lifted their maiden World Cup. There is no match in the cricket history that had this much intensity, as it looked like a roller coaster ride for each sides. Please subscribe for more videos and please like. Lot of effort goes to make this video. Thank you.